you know you're on the right track when a workout scares you. Now, with the smaller program, my own experience is every single training session I've done, starting from week 2, I've felt very uncertain, very uncomfortable, and I was worried just looking at the numbers and the amount of volume, right, with the weight. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it was too excessive, nor was it something that's beyond my capacity. It was just something that I was uncertain about, something that made me push out of my comfort zone. And like they always say, being uncomfortable or being in a state of discomfort is key to growth and success, right? And this statement or this saying can be applied to nearly everything, right? You can apply it to like the workforce, your social skills, and particularly fitness, right? The amount of weight you can perform and just your gains and your overall progression. So, yeah, it just made me realize that after investing a bit of time in the smaller program, I've recognized a particular trend. The weight, when I look at the rep scheme, so today was about 95 kilos for 5 sets of 7. Now, for me personally, I thought this was it was very uncomfortable, right? I was worried. So I was like, oh, am I able to perform all of these sets? Am I even able to feel comfortable with this 95 kilos, Because the way I was kind of putting it into my mind was 95 kilos is only 5 kilos away from 100 kilos, right? And it's only been about 2 weeks since I've really hit 100 kilos and felt, all right with it. Now, before the lockdown, I felt very comfortable with 100 kilos. Like, I was fine with it. I was able to do a few reps with it. I think my max reps was 8 reps, right? So the fact that I had to do 7 reps, just 1 rep below my maximum reps for 100 kilos, and just dropping that down to 95 kilos, and for a set of 5, you can kind of tell how worrisome, I guess, or how scary it seems, So now, it made me wonder, for you to maximize progression, we need to really understand how much of our stimulus that is required, right? And depending on the, workload of your stimulus or how intense it is, you're going to recognize that there is a sweet spot. And this sweet spot, I like to call the uncomfortable region, right? So, I think it kind of looks like a bell curve. So the first quadrant, right? First part would be like the comfortable zone, the zone where your weight, the amount of volume and intensity you're doing is comfortable. You recognize from prior experience that you're able to easily hit these reps. You're able to do it without struggle and low effort, right? Now in this region, this comfortable region, you are you're in a position where you're able to produce gains and progression, but not nearly enough for you to see noticeable change in a rapid pace, Now you will eventually over time be like, oh yeah, these weights feel lighter, they're getting easier, I feel more comfortable, and you just increase the weight, right? That's what progressive overload is, right? But for you to really engage with your growth, if you're obsessed with that progression, right? You got to push harder. You need to go beyond that comfortable zone and go to the state where every single time you go to a workout, you feel a bit of nervousness. You feel like, this weight seems pretty hard. Like, am I able to perform all of this? Like, you want to get to the bar and feel like, this is making me nervous. I'm not sure if I can really hit all these reps, right? You don't want to go to the state where it's like, can I even hit half these reps? Or like, am I even able to hold this weight? That's beyond excessive, right? So that's why I'm saying this uncomfortable region is going to be between the comfortable region and the excessive region. Now, going beyond that uncomfortable region, this is where, for example, you're doing like, let's say a program asks you to do like 95% of your 1 rep max, but do this for 5 sets of 10, right? You know you're not going to hit those 10 reps, right? It's 95% of your 1 rep max. So obviously that's just too excessive. And let's say you're trying to hold this kind of volume every single day on the same body part, the same movement, right? Obviously, that's going to be way too excessive on your body. You are only going to prone yourself to injuries with minimal recovery, despite how much you're going to be eating or sleeping, whatever. It's just going to be too much for your body to handle. Now, this isn't a matter of perspective where we're trying to hold a limit on you, saying that, oh, you just can't do this amount. It seems like, well, you can do this amount, but what is the point of doing this much if you know you're only going to regress and you're just trying to strain yourself, right? So why should you go this hard and, injure yourself or increase the risks of injuring yourself, right? This isn't a matter of you're not strong enough to do it. It's just a matter of you need to train smart and be smart with your workout. So, going on to this, whenever I look at the new rep scheme every single day of my training on the smaller program, it's always like 10 sets of 3 or 7 sets of 5 of like a heavy ass weight, right? It's a weight that I just feel like, oh, can I really hit this? So with this session, 5 sets of 7, it's quite a bit of volume. I would personally say, right? It's not a rep scheme that I'm used to, right? So the first set I did, I was worried that the 95 kilos was going to be heavy on my back and I was just not going to be able to, hit all my reps. So that's why lately I've been implementing a very heavy hold. So in my case, 130 kilo hold, and just trying to do like a quarter squat, right? By doing that, it's somewhat emulating like the pin squats, but you're trying to overload your CNS. You're trying to like shock your body into realizing, oh, this is a heavy weight, and you get used to it, right? And once you dial back on the weight, well, then immediately the weight feels a lot more comfortable on your back. It seems a lot lighter compared to your the 130 kilo hold, right? And lately, whenever I do that, the weight always feels a lot more light. That doesn't necessarily mean that I can't, it's not reducing the nervousness I get. It just reduces the initial state of nervousness of having that weight on my back. It just doesn't feel as heavy, and I'm able to maintain or bring about that confidence in order to hit all 7 reps. So after my first set of doing 7 reps, I felt like, oh, maybe I can hit all 5 sets, right? And that's when, I guess that's the region where you're like, okay, now this is the perfect sweet spot where you're going to be hitting or you're going to be maximizing your progression. So yeah. Now, talking about this, thinking about the, in general, the frequency of how many times you need to squat in small of our program, well, you need to squat 4 times a week, right? And to most people, they say that this is just excessive. This is beyond what your body can handle, right? And you're just too prone to injury in this case. But I feel like as you adapt your body over time to this frequency, your body instinctually will, reduce the amount of fatigue that you produce, right? And obviously, this volume is not enough to make you flat out sore every single day, right? That soreness kind of dissipates over time. And I guess that's the main reason why this high frequency of squatting kind of seems so favorable for me. It just kind of, fascinates me. So yeah, and going on about that, I feel fully recovered. I feel fresh every single time I go to the bar and I'm about to squat. And that's a great sign. Now, obviously, I'm only in my 3rd week, so I can't necessarily use this as the premise of my like the groundings of like every single new workout I do, because the intensity is going to increase over time for sure. So just basing it off this initial intensity is not necessarily the smartest way of approaching this, right? But aside from that, yeah, I do feel recovered. I feel like I'm getting stronger every single workout. I feel like the weights are feeling lighter and I feel good. So yeah, aside from that, I'll call it out there and I'll see you guys next time.